Nintendo has faced some of the most brutal controversies and accusations, from endless backlash from fans about their overpriced games, to a notoriously hated legal team that's known for being unrelentingly aggressive towards fans over copyright infringement. Here are some of the craziest situations where Nintendo got absolutely destroyed by their fans for their insane decisions. And one of those decisions, or should I say lack thereof, is Nintendo's choice to never put their games on sale. PlayStation and Xbox both have sales frequently, and they make them an entire event. Meanwhile, Nintendo only has a couple of sales per year, and when they do have sales, it's only a few games that actually get discounted. Black Friday is usually the time where you can get the best deals on Nintendo games, and even that is only up to 50% off. And it's not even like it would hurt Nintendo that much if they put their games on sale. Even if Nintendo did frequent sales for just their older games, it's still a lot better than what we have now. But it isn't just the lack of sales that's an issue with Nintendo, because they also like to abruptly abandon services that people like. Another thing that Nintendo has been very controversial for doing on multiple occasions is ending their services when people are still using them. One of the best examples of this is Nintendo's Miiverse service. Miiverse was essentially Nintendo's shot at recreating social media. Their unique spin on it was integrating the platform into the Wii U and the 3DS, but they also made it available on your web browser as well. And of the gimmicky ideas that Nintendo has had in the past, this was one of their better ones. They set it up so there were different communities where you could chat about different games and secrets you found in them or tips and tricks, and it was simply a good concept. But the platform itself only lasted around 5 years, from 2012 to 2017. The decision to not put the platform on the Nintendo Switch was honestly a really confusing one. Frankly, it would have worked pretty well on the Switch, and combine that with how well received it was on the Wii U and the 3DS, I don't see why Nintendo would just abandon it like that. Nintendo could have even gone the scummy route by putting it on Switch but locking it behind the Switch Online paywall. And I really wish that I could say this is the only platform that Nintendo has ever shut down, but the issue is, it's not. Besides the fact that Nintendo is known to shut down online services very shortly after they retire a console, they've also shut down quite a few other things. Among the services that Nintendo has shut down in the past are basically all of the Wii channels that use the internet, the 3DS and Wii U eShops, the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection infrastructure that the DS and Wii used, and a lot of other niche platforms. It's essentially the same pattern. Nintendo shuts down any servers they see as irrelevant at any given time. Now, real quick, before I talk about one of the most controversial things that Nintendo has ever done, if you're enjoying this video, I'd appreciate if you would hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hype the video. But let's discuss one of the most infamous controversies Nintendo has been involved in, and that is none other than the infamous Joy-Con stick drift. Now, it's completely normal for any controller to get stick drift if they have a type of technology known as potentiometers. It's pretty simple, the potentiometers just wear down and the result is drift. But the issue with Switch Joy-Cons is that they get drift far more easily than most other controllers. Now, the entire situation wouldn't have been that bad if Nintendo had just addressed it once it became a serious concern. But in this case, it took the government to make Nintendo do something about drift. Because after people started suing Nintendo over drift, they decided to offer free repairs for any affected controllers. Even if your Joy-Cons aren't drifting, you can still get them fixed. But the main issue is that free repairs are a really bad solution to Joy-Con drift. Because while they technically fix it, you have to send in your controllers and wait several weeks for them to get back. And in some cases, Nintendo is known to send you back different controllers than you sent in the first place. I would rather pay more for Joy-Cons just so that they don't get drift as easily than deal with that entire repair process. But the way that Nintendo handled the Joy-Con drift situation seems good compared to some other things that they've done to their fans. One thing that I just can't ignore when I talk about Nintendo's controversies is their strict copyright enforcement. Nintendo is known for being extremely protective of their property, and that turns out to be sometimes for the better, but sometimes for the worse. There are, of course, some situations where it makes sense for Nintendo to want to protect their property, such as when criminals are pirating or stealing their games. But many of their lawsuits and copyright claims feel downright petty. But one of Nintendo's biggest targets was YouTube. Throughout the 2010s, Nintendo targeted any creators who used their gameplay in their videos. Basically, what was happening is any gameplay that the creator might have captured themselves, Nintendo was basically trying to file copyright claims to take any monetization money that creator would have made as their own. The issue for creators is that the law was on Nintendo's side. But this was honestly a horribly inconsiderate move for Nintendo to make because most creators don't even make that much off YouTube. And even if these creators did make a lot of money off of YouTube, any money that Nintendo tries to take from creators really isn't that much compared to their revenue. And it makes even less sense to take from the creators who are giving Nintendo free advertising. These creators never did anything wrong or anything that would even harm Nintendo's business model. Nintendo heard the complaints from creators and they came out with a solution: revenue sharing. To stop the backlash from YouTube creators, Nintendo rolled out their Creators Program. If a YouTube creator signed up for the Nintendo Creators Program, Nintendo would basically stop copyright claiming their videos, but they would also take a pretty large percentage of their revenue. As you can imagine, this was a horrible idea and the backlash didn't really stop. As a result, the program ended in 2018 and Nintendo no longer copyright claims commentary channels. But now let's talk about one of the biggest controversies that Nintendo has ever been involved in, and that has to do with their high prices. With the Switch 2 that recently came out, Nintendo raised prices on a lot of their stuff. Obviously, one of the biggest reasons that people have been complaining is about the $80 price tag of Mario Kart World. But the biggest issue is really just the high prices in general. Some of these examples include the $100 Joy-Con 2 controllers, the $85 Pro controller, the $70 standard Switch 2 games, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. But anyway, those are some of the biggest controversies that Nintendo has ever been involved in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.